spring, summer 2024 fashion shows. They've wrapped up. There were a whole hell of a lot of shows. And we've got some things to talk about. I don't know. Is there anything that you want to dial in on first here?
Good or bad? Well, why don't you start with one that you liked, and then we'll go to me doing one I liked.
All right. I think I have somewhere to start here because a few weeks ago, we did an episode of this very show on a little old designer called Junya Watanabe.
Junya Watanabe.
Yes. And we had much respect for Junya, okay? We never said a bad word about him. We love the guy.
I love it.
We didn't have juice on it.
We didn't have any juice, and we had to release an apology, a correction, and say that we did not have juice. We apologize for the pod. The legal. My dick is caught up in a knot with all the legal issues.
Yeah.
But what happened?
But here's the thing. A week after that episode, he comes out with the juiciest juice collection that he has ever done. There's like 20 different collaborations in this one collection, and at the same time, it's pure Junya Watanabe. It's the best, maybe the best collection I have personally seen from him, and how it hits me about it.
This collection be hitting different. What do you like about it? I have things that I like about it, but I don't want to give away my answers.
No, that's fair. I like the cuts. I like the shapes. I like the cut and sew elements like that we're going on with here. The belted elements are interesting. I think there is this effect that happens when you have so many different ideas coming in at once, but they're being filtered through this one kind of choke point, which is Junya Watanabe, and all of that coming together just hits right.
Yeah,
I like the shapes,
Dude, I have to agree with you. I do really like the shapes in this collection. Like the silhouettes are doing it, and like we are seeing a lot of looks that feel like kind of Watanabe's obsession with like authentic workwear, like not like workwear, but like taking something that a fisherman wears and actually like making a luxury garment out of it. The silhouettes are really great. The kind of materials we're seeing, I agree that this is possibly one of my favorite collections I've seen of his.
Yeah.
To date.
It's exciting, and that's the thing that we were like missing last time we were talking about. We just couldn't find the excitement. So I'm happy about that.
I'm happy about it too.
Your favorites.
Let's do head. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I do not know how he's actually supposed to pronounce his name.
Nor do I.
Only read it. Head Mayo.
Head Mayner. That's what I would say as well.
New Englanders, we call him Mayner.
Mayner.
And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, you can't like somebody if you can't say their name. That's stupid. Well, I've been kind of like on his whole ride, his vibe for a little bit. Like I love just kind of collecting pictures of his collections. I think the silhouettes are really crazy and crazy in a way that I'm like really, really into. Go back a couple. Sorry.
Yep.
Go back to the one, the vest with the pockets, because that one feels like when I saw that, I'm like, not that one. Back more. Keep going. There.
There we go.
This is so on screen. We see a model, no shirt on, white kind of fisherman's vest with the 3D pockets, but the 3D pockets kept going. It's almost like generative AI was trying to make sense of making this garment, and it just the proportions are crazy. And this is a lot of like what I'll just call him head. What I've seen of his stuff is like the proportions of garments can be both very crazy and very appealing to me. Yeah. And I think that you do not want to sleep on him, because I think he's the stuff that this brand is making is very cool.
I totally agree. Kind of vibe. And I know it's a simple piece, but this one, when I was looking at the collection, really stuck with me, because I think I've seen like the crinkled shirt quite a bit over the years, but this felt like a new take on it that actually like really captured that vibe of like an over crinkled shirt. Like the crinkles feel real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're not phoning in the crinkles. They're real.
No, they're not. They're not. Yeah. Great choice on this one. I almost picked this one myself, so I'm happy you did. There's another thing you picked. One more I want to talk about, I think, maybe, that I didn't put in my list because I'm just dumb and wasn't thinking about it when I was making my list.
Stupid.
I should have. Because there were things in this collection that were legitimate revelations to me. Okay.
Damn. What are we looking at?
This Prada collection. Do you mind? Can I cook for a second?
Okay, go off.
All right. So it is, if I get into the photo gallery. All right. All of the pieces that were like blazer shirt hybrids blew my fucking mind. Like, just literally turn it upside down how I think about these types of garments. There was one, this denim one right here.
I mean, it's
kind of lapel here. It's a classic like blazer kind of construction, but obviously much thinner and pure like open dress shirt, oversized arms. They do it in the denim here. They do it in some sort of like wool here. And every single one of these was just like it was a cum for me. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you know, in Pumping Iron, how Arnold says that like going to the gym is like coming. Well, for people like us, looking at a runway show is like coming, and we come every day.
I know you picked it. What do you think?
Well, a couple of things. I agree. I thought that Miuccia Prada has been, you know, driving her ship very well, and Prada in the men's has had a clean, consistent, and compelling look. And I think that this collection is really showing how Raf is starting to freak it more. And I wanted to share this one because I also like kind of, you described it in a really great way. And I think that Raf has a tendency to do this. It's where he makes me think about garments differently, like think differently Apple style. And it's just something I want to reiterate, which is like, I think people sleep as stupid and like nonsensical as this is, because Raf Simons is one of the most talked about designers of our time. I think people sleep on a lot of his modern stuff for whatever reason.
I think so, yeah.
And we've argued, I think we've brought this up in the podcast before, that Raf is doing things that aren't cool yet. Frankly, that's kind of what his deal is. He's doing things that aren't cool yet. So it behooves you to pay attention to what he's doing, because it's going to be cool like in 10, 20 years whenever everybody obsesses over it. And you definitely hit like these looks, or taking the whole feminine masculinity trends that we saw in the last collections. And Raf found a way to do it in what I think is totally different than what everybody else's interpretations are of it.
Exactly.
Raf and Miuccia, because they're a team, you know.
And while staying commercial too, like this kind of like more tech wear green piece is like super wearable while still having a crazy interesting cut. I don't know. I think it's a home run.
Home run! Bow! Okay, so which ones do we hate?
Yeah, we got to talk about the ones we hated, right? Let's see. My worst picks. Do we want to, for mine, would you rather dunk on one that it's like, of course we would dunk on that, or one that maybe people would disagree with a bit? What do you think?
What gets me famous? Which one is the one that helps me professionally? Well, you know
obviously,
what? I think
it's the outrage, the baiting the outrage, right?
Well, I think okay. Where are we? What did you pick? Oh, I see it. Dior.
Yeah.
That was yours?
That was mine. I really didn't like this. I think for a few seasons now, Kim Jones has been going to the well of finding these like hot collaborators to kind of bring in their voice and add some originality to the Dior mix. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. This one just kind of felt like Kim Jones doing Kim Jones things. The fabrications just kind of bothered me. The cuts kind of bothered me. There were things where it just felt like throw a funny hat on him and
a funny hat on him.
That'll make it better. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just rubbed me a bit wrong.
I definitely went to I clicked on this one to see if I was gonna roast it because, I guess I've said this and I'll say it again. I kind of want to dunk on Kim Jones. He looks like a
Right.
giant baby. He looks like a
Mhm.
man who's also a baby.
Yeah.
Deserves to get dunked on. But I think the reason I didn't pick this was
Yeah.
because there were some looks that I was like, I'm okay with this.
Right. Right.
But to give him some credit, Kim
Mhm.
Jones's tenure at Dior, I feel like is Barbiecore.
Right. Yeah.
His
Yeah. Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
time there is Barbiecore.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know
Like he's
why.
he's a he's like a khaki and powder pink master,
Yeah,
right?
mastermind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad, but
I think
and
maybe what did it for me is just like the lack of novelty that he's had over the past few seasons, that even when I don't always love it, I always kind of enjoy going to look at a Dior collection to be like, oh, what did Denim Tears bring to this, or ERL or whoever, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of not original, go to mine.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay.
Oh, it's not
Um,
that. It's not that vicious. You know what I was thinking when I was looking at the shows is like my default is I am just so much more interested in finding the value in creative pursuits than I am in roasting them. And
right.
beyond the fact that these are designers at the top of their friggin' class, and
Yeah.
B, all this stuff is good. But I wanted to, if I had to dunk on one, I picked Saint Laurent, Saint
Okay.
Laurent,
Sell
2024.
me, because I'm not sold yet. So
If I
what?
was
Why
just
should I
gonna
hate?
like, let's say I didn't even click on this, I would say, shoot, I always forget the name of the designer who plays Eddie, that Italian guy. What do I think he's gonna do for 2024? And mind you, I'm not looking at my screen; I'm looking at the camera. I would imagine he would do the feminine, masculine thing again. So we're just
Hmm.
gonna see sheer shirts, and the
Hmm.
silhouettes are gonna be slightly different than Eddie's silhouettes, like kind of more
Hmm.
80s or wider. But
Hmm.
generally speaking, just the same Saint Laurent from like a decade ago that Eddie Salmon did, and it's kind of like was it like Yves Saint Laurent? His whole deal was he was making clothing that young people connected to and was modern.
Yeah.
What happened to that? Because I don't remember Yves saying that my aesthetic is actually rock and roll from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was right. I
I know.
guessed it.
I stopped it on this one to be like, oh, I wonder what kind of things you talking about.
I
Oh,
don't
this
know.
one. Right.
And I'm being too hard. I'm being too harsh. These looks aren't
Yeah.
horrendous, but I
No, they're
don't
not.
see the brand being different enough. In if I had to dunk on one brand, I would dunk on a massive brand like Saint Laurent, and
Hmm.
one that had decided they were at a crossroads, and they decided, no, we're not going to do something different. We're going to continue doing what Eddie
Right.
Salmon decided for us.
Here's something
And
really interesting that I've noticed that I think illustrates what you're saying. When I go and I'm browsing through Saint Laurent stuff, because I do like kind of like Saint Laurent. I like Eddie quite a bit. Vaccarello, sometimes there's stuff that I'm like, yeah, pretty good. Whenever I'm browsing on Grailed or wherever, you see a piece, and immediately I can tell if it's a Eddie piece. I'm like, oh, it's an Eddie piece. Oh, that's probably like 2013, 14, or oh, that's probably 2015, 16. With the Vaccarello pieces, I'll be like, was that Eddie or was that Vaccarello? Or oh, what year was that? Let's look at the tags, figure out which season it's from. It's just like there it's not distinguishable in the same way, you know?
yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. It's just like I said. The reason that I wanted to bring it up is I don't know. Fashion thrives on being novel, and the problem is that this is a company owned by a company that wants to continue what is working, and their creative director left, and they kind of just continued on that path.
Right, right.
And of course, I've made this point for years now that it's like you have two options for the same looks. You can go to Celine or you can go to Saint Laurent.
Right.